Good morning and namaste from my self-created mountaintop lakeside studio here on Yas Island, Abu Dhabi. My name is Julie Lewis and many people actually call me Jules because they say I've got lots of energy. So before I started this video, I checked my energy levels and they're firing on full cylinders, and I hope yours are too. I work with teams and organizations, forward-thinking teams and organizations who want to develop resilient, healthy, peak-performing individuals who will succeed in a challenging and changing marketplace. And boy, oh boy, are we experiencing right now a challenging and changing marketplace. Yet at the same time, it's brought along with it many gifts for business and life transformation. At many levels, we've all had to press pause, take deep breaths, assess the situation, what's going to work, what's not working, respond, adapt, rewire, and keep moving forward, finding a way as we move along. Now, many years ago, one of my friends said, "Jules, you are so resilient." And I thought, I wonder what that actually means. Is it a good thing? So I thought, let's GTS that, Google that stuff. So I looked at it and I thought, yeah, I am resilient. So I started reading books around it. And one book in particular, I contacted the author and I said, I've got lots of experiences that built my resilience, but I'd like to see if I could certify this and measure it and manage it. Now, this is a group of business psychologists called Nicholson McBride in the UK. So about 4 years ago, I spent a week with them in London and certified to become a resilient consultant. Now, it's great having all the academic side to it, but what really counts is the real-time experience. Now, whether you are climbing a mountain, writing a book, running a business, starting a business, moving country, learning a new skill, then resilience is absolutely critical. Resilience and of course optimism, which this whole Congress is about, resilience and optimism. The good news for all of us is that this is a learnable skill. It's kind of like a muscle that every time you flex it, it gets stronger. So in this session, we're going to talk about what is resilience, why it's important, and how we develop it. So resilience is the ability to bounce forward. I prefer bounce forward as opposed to bounce back. To bounce forward higher and stronger. To stay calm and optimistic during challenging and changing times. To be able to respond swiftly to change. To focus on solutions. And to be accountable and always find a way. But in particular, to manage stress and anxiety. Now, why is that important right now? Well, now more than ever, because of such changes and very fast changes, it's important that we build our resilience and optimism and build spare capacity so that we avoid burnout. Many people are spending hours and hours looking at screens and indoors, and the antidote to that is to get outdoors and offline. So it's important that we build our resilience and optimism to avoid burnout, as a leader to make sure that we're keeping our teams engaged and retained, and that we build this spare capacity. Now, the very best way to build and boost and broaden your resilience is through experiences. The more experiences you have, the more resilient you become. The more resilient you become, the more able you are to manage stress and anxiety. Most of my resilience, apart from the academic certifications, has actually come from nature. I spent a lot of time over the last 17 years leading expeditions to the mountains, forests, oceans, and deserts. So I often tap into nature's resilience. Now, when I think of a mountain, I think of strength, stability, grounded, weathering the storms, knowing that the sun will shine eventually, and staying grounded and full of potential. When I think about a lake, I think about being still and calm and reflective and being able to assess the situation, to listen and observe. When I think of trees, I think about, gosh, trees give us oxygen, we give them CO2, but trees are grounded in their values. And now more than ever, it's important to remain true to our values, to our clients' values, and to breathe in new air. So staying oxygenated, being flexible like a tree, not snapping. And then, of course, the final nature resilience example would be a river. And a river of resilience means that we are weaving our way around obstacles, always finding a way, adapting to what's going on underneath, what's ahead of us, and really just adapting to the environment and knowing that we're leading to greater things, i.e. the ocean. So these are some of the experiences I've had in challenging, remote, changeable environments that have actually transferred into my life and into my business. Now, when I was asked to speak on resilience and optimism, I thought this is fantastic because I live and breathe this. From my many, many personal experiences, I've been married, divorced, married, widowed, married third time is a charm. I've failed exams, I've been heartbroken, I've experienced the death of a loved one, I've been financially embarrassed, and these are all universal things, and I've become a stronger person as a result of this. I've attempted to swim the channel from England to France, and after 4 hours of swimming in the dark, got pulled out because the tides were stronger than my arms. But boy, oh boy, did I learn a lot from that. I've also been the primary caregiver for a cancer patient and my husband. And I know that many of us are also now looking after elderly parents. So what I'm actually saying that these life experiences are very, very challenging at the time, but they actually build and broaden our resources. And instead of saying, why me? We say, what is the gift? What am I learning from this? What would I do differently? So you're building that resilience level. So we're going to take a short break and we're going to have some music. And what I would like you to do is to actually think, it could be past, present, or future. Think about an experience that you've had in the past that really tested you. Or you could actually think of a situation that's testing you right now. Or maybe you're more kind of future focused and you're expecting something to happen. And what actually is that? So I'd like you to deep dive into an experience that A, you've already had, B, you're having right now, or C, you can see it on the horizon. And if you're sat down, please stand up. And if you're standing up, please sit down, change state a little bit. And you're going to have 1 minute to actually think about an experience and how that built your resilience and optimism. See you in 60 seconds. Welcome forward. I say forward because it's very clear in all sense of the word that we are not going to go back to the old ways, that we are moving forward. So let's start moving forward in this session. Now that you've had a short chance to listen to some music, you've had a little techie break to think about some of the challenge that you experienced in the past, you're currently facing, or you can see on the horizon. So in this short session, I'm going to share the 5 essential elements of resilience. Now, how did these come about? They came about through lots and lots of thousands actually of people doing an online assessment through Nicholson McBride, who I'm certified with, to test these different elements, and the 5 that came out the strongest I'm going to share with you now, and I invite you to listen carefully, because at the end of this short session I'd like you to think which of these elements, maybe it's just one of them or a selection of them, would have really helped me in the past, boosting my resilience and optimism, could help me now, or can help me in the future. And that's me, my teams, my organizations, my community. So this is how we can transform adversity into an enjoyable challenge by tapping into these 5 essential elements. And guess what? The first one is optimism, which is one of the themes for this Congress. So optimism is the ability to look for the good in everything and everybody, to know and be aware, yes, not Pollyanna glasses that everything's fine when it's not, is to be aware of what's going on and then actually knowing that things are going to get better. So to have a reframe mindset that you focus on what's possible and you're giving your team a clear vision of that. There's a lovely quote from the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel that is perfect for optimism. Everything will be all right in the end, and if it's not all right, it's not the end. So look for the good in everything, focus on what you can do, and have a long-term vision and know that this storm will pass. The second element is solution orientation. Now, people who have a solution orientation mindset anticipate challenges. They're kind of quite intuitive, and they rise to the challenge and they actually focus on solutions. We're all aware of the current situation, and we can talk about it till the cows come home. What we need to do is say, this is the situation, and then spend the rest of our time focusing on solutions, because we will always find a way. So solution-orientated people act swiftly and they find a way. They sit around and discuss solutions, not the situation. The third element of resilience is individual accountability. Now, it's important that we are self-reliant and we're impeccable with our word, and we kind of say if we're going to do something, we do it. The 4th agreement says that, be impeccable with your word. And it's also important that we have accountability partners, so an ecosystem of support that we can kind of bounce ideas across and keep each other to our word. The fourth fingers, not 3. The 4th element is openness and flexibility. Now, this means having an open growth mind and being flexible and knowing that there are several ways up this mountain and there are several ways to success. Sometimes we have to do a complete U-turn. Sometimes we have to take a sharp left. But the people that are resilient actually have a broader sense of awareness. They don't have the blinkers on and think it has to be done this way. We've always done it this way. It's my way or the highway. They're very open-minded, and I think living in the Middle East we are, because we're living in a cross-cultural, cross-generational environment. So they're open-minded and they're open to other people's ideas and opinions of ways of moving forward. The 5th element is managing stress and anxiety. And this, of course, is a huge one right now. And this is being able to identify what your stresses are. Is it people, places, situations? Is it your career, finances, relationships? Whatever it is, you know what yours is, what yours are. What are the symptoms? What's showing up in your body? Because our body speaks our mind. Do you have pains in your neck? Are you getting lower back pain? Have you got upset tummies? All of these things are indications or messages to say that we're stressed. And we all know that stress lowers the immune system, weakens the immune system, and that's the last thing we want right now. So to be able to manage your stress, know your stressors, be aware of the symptoms you're experiencing, and then I have some strategies in place which we'll talk about in the next section. So these are the 5 essential elements, and they can be measured through something called an RQ test, resilience quotient, which then maps onto an RLQ, resilient leadership quotient. So by just being aware of these elements of resilience and then the dimensions of resilient leadership, this will give you a really, really good chance and some tools and techniques so that your resilience and your optimism can keep moving forward, whatever comes in, and adversity then becomes an enjoyable challenge. So I'm going to give you another short break. And during this time period, I'd like you to think, which of these 5 elements would you need? Had you had them in the past, or you need them right now, or you need more of them in the future, that will help you or could have helped you navigate the challenges and changes that you face? So the simple question is, which of these 5 elements, optimism, solution orientation, individual accountability, openness and flexibility, or managing stress and anxiety, which one of these or combination of these would really, really help you moving forward? I'll see you shortly. Welcome forward. I would love to hear which of the 5 essential elements or combination of those elements you identified as being the ones that you would need to ramp up rock solid resilience and optimism. So drop me a note. I'd like you to know that even if it seems you have nowhere to turn, nowhere to go, you've got no idea what's next, that there's always a way, always a way. And if you need any help with that, I'd love you to give me a call. So in this final session, I'm actually going to share some tips, just 3 to keep it simple, that will really help you with your resilience and optimism and all areas of your life moving forward. So I'm sharing 3, but there are many, many more in chapter 7 of my book, Moving Mountains, Discover the Mountain in You, because there's a whole chapter on resilience. So the first tip I have for you right now is to triple your self-care. Be very conscious of your thoughts and focus on what you do want, not what you don't want. And what are you eating? How are you moving? Are you meditating? Are you sleeping well? Are you staying hydrated? Are you getting enough solitude and social connection? So this is all part of your self-care. How you're thinking, eating, moving, sleeping, hydrating, meditating, social connection, and solitude. The second tip I have for you is to make sure that you take regular techie breaks. Have a digital detox. We are spending more and more time indoors and online and directed attention. And many people are getting CVS, computer vision syndrome. So get outside and offline, switch off from our always on life and switch off and give yourself that space so that you've got time to restore your attention and come back fresh. The third tip is to be very self-compassionate. Compassionate with yourself, with your team, your family, and this is really important right now. And there's a lovely technique called the heart awareness breath. So it's simply slowing down your breathing, closing your eyes, putting your hand on your heart, and the minute you consciously slow down your breathing, you're sending a message from the heart to the brain via the vagus nerve, I am safe. And when you feel calm and grounded and centered, ask yourself, my heart, what do I need right now? And the first thing that comes into your mind, that's what you need right now, give it to yourself. And this is a great self-compassionate question to ask yourself on a regular basis, especially when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and out of sort. Do I need to take a break? Do I need a hug? Do I need to cry? Do I need a good laugh? Do I need to take a power nap? Ask yourself, what do I need right now? And give it to yourself. And you can do this with your partner, your kids, your teammates, your colleagues, and ask your customers, what do you need right now? And then give it to them. Thank you so much for having me as a guest speaker at the Congress. I'd love you to stay in touch with me. I'm sending you a huge virtual hug from Yas Island, Abu Dhabi. My name is Julie Lewis. Call me Jules, www.julie-lewis.com. Enjoy the rest of the conference and please stay in touch. Mwah.